G'day and welcome back. During the upgrade of the hydraulic press, when I was putting that water power in, I had to do the big hole in the top. I had a viewer reach out and ask if I had any annular cutters, to do big holes, and I don't have any annular cutters. Well, in the mail turned up a 50mm brand new annular cutter and an Arbor with a Morse Taper 2. Now I have a sleeve to fit this, to take it out to a Morse Taper 3. That's what both the mills are, Morse Taper 3 and the tailstock on the lathe. Now the problem I have with the Cincinnati is I lack Z height with that head. It doesn't take much to run out of room. And just for an exercise, I want to make a short series Arbor with a Morse Taper 3. This will still be used in the in the lathe. It can be used in the Cincinnati too if I've only got a short job in, you know what I mean? But it's a good excuse to use the lathe sine bar again to cut the Morse Taper and just see how close I can get it and how accurate I can get it. So, and I'm absolutely blown away the generosity of the viewers, I can tell you. Like, I don't expect gifts into the channel at all. I don't expect people to spend their hard-earned cash buying stuff for me, and I'm blown away. Unbelievable. There's some really kind people out in that world too, so thank you again. I know you want to remain anonymous, so I'll respect that, but I honestly do appreciate your generosity. Anyway, we'll get this in the lathe and we'll see if we can turn that into a thing of beauty. We'll attempt to anyway. So that's the whey oil I use, and it is really good stuff. It doesn't run off. It just stays there. It sticks in the ways, and you don't get any stickness on your travels, like on your movements. It doesn't sort of drag or anything. Very impressed with it. Buy it off Australian company. It's USA made. Australian company stocks it. So Live Tools. Square the end off, put a center in it, and then I can clean up all the outside. And there was no real need to go with the TNGG insert. I just wanted to see what sort of finish I was going to get on this material. I'll clean this end up, put a center in it, and then I'll start turning down for the Morse Taper. I'm going to turn this section down to that line up here, down to 1 inch. That'll give me a start for the Morse Taper. Run a bit of flood coolant too. So that was a 60 thou depth of cut. I could try an 80. Wasn't bad, 80 thou on the dial. $9.96, good enough. Looking at the chart that it gets supplied with the sine bar, Morse Taper 3, I've got a 4-inch sine bar. Gives you all the details of the Morse Taper, but I need 100 or 100 and 3.5 tenths like stack height. I don't have any gauge blocks. The closest I can get is 100 thou, so I'm going to have to fine tune it probably to get the perfect fit for the Morse Taper. I just use a drill bit and feeler gauges and just get as close as I can and then fine tune at the end. I got my drill bit, feeler gauges. Magnets are strong enough, they hold everything in place. So we're going to do is sweep this edge now. Sweep this edge and get that running dead true by adjusting the compound, and we should be right. Don't know how good you guys can see it there, but yeah, fine tune and we'll get it right. Okay, so I've set the compound, it's all done up tight. To get this off, it's got these nylon screws, which helps you jack it up to get it off. How cool is that? Right, now let's have a crack at doing this. I'll be using the battery drill to drive the compound. I'm lazy and I don't mind to admit it. I've just changed over to the TNGG insert just to get that beautiful finish. What I'm going to do is start checking that angle now. If you remember when I first got the Cincinnati, I had to regrind the spindle. I didn't actually show regrinding it, but I showed the setup I used. So after I'd done that, these Morse tapers actually go up there a bit deeper. So yeah, I can't make it to the exact specs, otherwise it's got to be longer this end here. So what I'm trying to say is, if I know how I'm going to say it, but I've got to make it a bit fatter than what they normally are, so I know I don't bottom out on the end of the spindle. This is a sleeve that comes with the lathe, Morse 5 to Morse 3. This is the one I've always used as a master. Wow, that's pretty darn close all the way there already. Another couple of swipes. Okay, bring his in there, see if you can pick that up on camera. Hoping you can pick that up. This has got a step inside this taper, as you can see, which lines up with that mark there, and there's the top. So we are getting contact all the way. Pretty happy with that. That's it. That's exactly where I want to be. This is going to be drilled and tapped half 12 Whitworth, which matches the drawbar on a lot of my other arbors. Okay, I can come off and take it over the vise, tap that thread in the end here. Off camera, I took it over to the vise and tapped that half Whitworth, so half 12. Put that back in the, take the chuck off, put it in the headstock now, hold in with the drawbar, and then put the feature on this end. Okay, now I've got to machine a 3/4 hole in the end. It's got to be 1 inch deep. So what I've got here is a solid carbide boring bar that was sent in to me probably 6 months ago or more. And I've used it a couple of times, just I've never used it on camera before, but yeah, solid carbide 10mm boring bar. I've got it's like an aluminium tip in there. It's sort of similar to one of these TNGG inserts. Yeah, just razor sharp. So I'm just going real light cuts and just working my way out. I don't want to overshoot it at all. I want it spot on 750. So I'm going to keep gnawing away here, and I'll probably bring yous back on the last cut because I've got 50th out to take out and I'm only taking sort of 10th out of time. If my calculations are right, I should have 8th out to go. It's 742. So, final cut. I can't really detect any movement. If there is any, it's a very, very slightest, tiniest bit. To me, that's good. So what I can do now is break that edge, break this edge, blend this corner in up here, and then over to the mill to put the 2 set screws in. It just rounded that edge off real nicely. That's what we've ended up with so far. That board turned out quite nice, super smooth. So that gives me a vertical line, kinda. I'll be able to see it. So when I turn it 90 degrees, I'll be able to square them lines back up. Yeah, please. So I'll be able to, say, use an adjustable parallel or whatever, to square that back up. So I can index it 90 degrees. The MT2 Arbor has M10 set screws in it, which I'm going to do the same. I haven't got any M10 screws, set screws, but I'll have to go and buy some. But I can just use the ones that come in the other Arbor for now. That stuff is as sticky as buggery, but it works. It works real good. That's not far off where it is there, you know. That'll do. So that's how they turned out. A little bit of deburring on the inside. Apart from that, it'll be alright. So this will be the comparison of why I made this. To use this arbor in the mill, I would have had to use this MT3 to MT2 adapter. By making this arbor, you can see the height that I've saved. You're looking at roughly 70 mil nearly, 65 mil of Z height I've saved. So this one can still be used in the little mill because it's got a lot more Z height. So if you've got two arbors, two cutters, you know, you got them both set up doing a job, well, you got two arbors now too. Alright, we'll give her a go. 85 RPM on the spindle. I'm going to hand feed it. I'm not going to use auto feed on the Z, just hand feed it. Definitely a very, very nice finish. And the slug fell out, which is good. Wow. That, I just fed that by hand. I've never used one before. I am a bit blown away how neat that and how easy that cut. Really impressive. Well, I'm absolutely over the moon with the way that arbor turned out. And the way that I'll be honest, I've never owned an annular cutter before. I've only ever seen them used on YouTube videos, and the finished surface in there is smooth as buggery. It's a perfect cut, and the slug come out on its own. I didn't have to push it out, it just fell out. You would have seen that. I think you'll see that anyway. I'm going to be looking at buying some more of these, probably try and buy a set. It's so much quicker. I got drill bits that go up to 1 inch and 5/32 I think. I have been on the lookout to get a set up to 2 inch. I know the Cincinnati will handle 2 inch, no dramas. But annular cutters are quicker. So, and I only hand fed that. I didn't use a power feed on the Z because I didn't know how fast you feed them or what. But anyway, good result. I'm really happy with the way that arbor turned out. It seems to be running dead true, which is good. Big thanks to the viewer who sent these into the other arbor and the annular cutter. Mate, thank you. Really, really generous. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Hooroo.